Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. May God bless you. May Jesus Christ bless you right now as you listen to this, and just, I want to share with you, this is just how God works, alright? So, for the last 3 days, I been climbing up and down a scaffold, 6 meters tall, like just up and down, up and down, up and down, doing dudders. So you have to do like 2 meters and get down, move it, get up. And like, I hit the wall yesterday afternoon because I was stuffed. And, got to the point I dismantled and did everything else. Didn't finish until 7 o'clock, and then I had to drive like an hour and a half home because I had to pull in and collect some stuff on the way home. So like, I didn't get home until like 9:30 kind of thing, and by the time I actually got to bed, like, I am stuffed, like really stuffed, the most stuffed that I have been in a long time. And as I say, I haven't hit the wall in a long time. I hit it yesterday pretty severely. Anyway, so I woke up this morning actually quite early because I think I was too sore to sleep. Like, I've really pushed beyond pushed, too sore to sleep, unbelievable. Now, I go and let the chickens out, as you do, and I'm just thinking to myself, in my gym, there's two things. So we want to put a bit of a backstory to where I'm trying to get to. I had a mate that gave me some a wardrobe the other week, and when he gave me the wardrobe, he was like, "Oh, I found these in the shed. I was wondering if you wanted them." And what he was talking about was the threaded nuts for the weight bars. And it's like, there's 4 of them here, and I was like, it's just interesting that you've showed me that, because for the last month I've been looking at potentially getting a weight rack with weights, because I am sick of swapping over plates with my dumbbells. So I've been looking at a dumbbell rack, essentially, right? So it was just funny that he showed me that, and then after that I went into Rebel Sport a few days ago, and there are 10 kilo dumbbell sets, like $50 each. So I was like, you know what? Handle plus the weights, that's tolerable. So I bought 4 of them, and went back to my gym, and I was like, oh, geez, I've got plenty of spare plates here. I can start to manipulate things around and start to take things a bit more seriously. I also had those hex weights, a 7 kilo set of those. I found them on the side of the road 2 years ago. Now, so there's a bigger picture sitting here. So I've got those dumbbells, the hex ones, the rubber covered hex ones, and I've just got a couple of more handles, and it's allowed me to create a few more weights, because I made other dumbbells a couple of years back filled with concrete, but they're massive. And like, when you're getting into the gym, I'm not ready for them yet, and so I had like a major gap between what I've got, and I needed to fill it in with a set of dumbbells, a few of them. So this has been sitting for a bit, dumbbells, and I kept getting handles, so that was last week with the handles, and then I've gone through and I've purchased those handles and weights. And so this morning, so also with my gym, my 2 limitations with my gym has been the dumbbells, but also with my lat pull down, I've needed to get some steel to go between the bottom cable and the top cable, because I've created a pulley system for like, it's tall enough to do any exercise you want, but I still haven't got like the knee support in place, so that when you've got large weights to lift, like pull down with, you don't lift yourself off the floor. So like, I needed a wedge to put my body underneath. And so I was like, well, it's sunny, I'm not going to get another opportunity to really focus on this right now, so I'm going to go down, I'm going to find somewhere, there, you got that? Find somewhere on a Saturday morning that sells steel. Ain't that an impossible task, right? So I check out the three, the Southern Highlands where I live. Like, there's actually a reasonable population. I check out all the towns, not open till Monday, and I was like, well, I'll check out Goulburn. One of the shops at Goulburn is open, so I was like, excellent. Better go down there and get some steel this morning. Hey, I was like, I don't really need anything else. I'll just go and get my steel, and I can come back and do some welding and get my lat pull down section of the big gym frame that I built fixed, so I can start to take that seriously. I'm removing the bottlenecks in my gym, which is removing all excuses. Not that I don't need excuses, because I want to lift. I'm removing all the demotivating factors that's stopping me from being able to hit my potential, right? So I found there was a place in Goulburn, but you see, God already knew there was a plan with this, right? So this is how it all works. So this morning I woke up after walking in the scaffolds for the last 3 days, climbing up and down, 6 meters up and down, and like, I'm stuffed. And today I'm stuffed, but I'm too sore to sleep. It'll hit me Monday, and that's when I'll finally crash. But I'm still too sore to crash at the moment because I just pushed so hard. It's like I've just done a marathon. I was eating stupid amounts of food, drinking stupid amounts of water. It was actually very, very tough work. Now, so I was like, excellent, had a bit of breakfast, made a cup of tea, for driving in the car, and I was like, why would God be up to much today if I'm just going to go and get some steel? So I drive down to Goulburn from where I'm at, and I was like, cool, I'll go to the steel shop first. Now, I go to the steel shop, and the first thing that I see, because the scaffold that I purchased, which allowed me to work on these 7 and 8 metre high gutters, it was actually a stunt that I pulled, and it's opened all the buildings up, and it's now mine for maintenance, and I'll now be doing it for 1 week the first week of every month. I'll do maintenance on all the buildings, and there is a lot of buildings, and it's the roofing, it's the first things first. And with the buildings, we've got this thing called Moreton Bay figs, and these Moreton Bay figs always drop leaves and wild fruit. And the problem with that is it fills up the gutters. So first and foremost, just the other day, I discovered this thing called a sludge pump for the end of a gurney hose. Unbelievable. You push it, instead of blowing, it has a vacuum, 17 litres in, 300 litres out. So I've got a sludge pump for a gurney. I can walk around and clear gutters out if I want to do, and clean out some, so I can clean out the gunk at the bottom of rainwater tanks, all with a gurney. So like, there's that resolved, but beyond that, I'm like, gutter mesh. So at this steel shop, I'm like, shit, these guys have got mice and snake netting, like 6 mil by 6 mil, like really small holes, and it's quite solid mesh. And they're 30 metres by 1.2 metres, so you cut that down into 300 mil wide, you've got 120 metres. And I'm like, you can actually get a lot of gutter cover with that, you know what I mean? Like, because it's proper mesh. And I was like, the only thing that I can't think of is like, how could I fix it to the tin? Because I've got hundreds of metres of gutters to deal with. How can I fix this mesh to the tin so that the leaves don't go underneath it? Anyway, I go to this shop, and there it is, sitting on a wall. There are these things called saddles. And these saddles encapsulate the actual, the corrugate, the top of the corrugate, and it pushes the tin down to the bottom of the corrugate. And you put it every second one. So it just screws into the top like a normal screw, but it holds it down and it corrugates the tin. Corrugates the mesh. So I was like, so this morning I've got the steel for my gym. I've got the answer for gutter net, gutter protection from leaf netting, and it's a system. And the way I want it is, I just want to use those saddles, and I just want to use that mesh over it, and I want to bend the end of the mesh over, say, 5 centimetres or 50 mil, because I want to be able to lift it up if I want to clean it. But then I can fold it back down and let it do its job, right? So I'm after a system that in 10 years' time, you can still get what you need to keep doing what you've got to do. It's about long-term sustainability with the answers that you're looking for to look after big problems. So there's my next answer. After I've been working on roofs, I've got the answer for the roof that I'm looking after. This morning, so up on the farm where I'm at, I've discovered something. You don't want to be using galvanized sheets of tin in humid areas, because it turns out that if you haven't got that stuff indoors, if it's outdoors, the condensation builds up inside of the sheet tins that are stuck together, and then it creates an electrolysis between the zinc in either gal, and it creates what is called white rust or chalking. Anyway, but like I've discovered what it is, so also with that, like I've got enough for a couple of really big buildings worth of tin. I just needed to figure out how to deal with the chalking, and then, you know, then be able to use that tin. So I've got hundreds of meters of tin sitting there as well. So again, this morning I got an answer to deal with the rusting and the chalking, which has been up. I'll be able to take the stuff back to bare metal and get it coated with a proper Zinc-Aluminum coating to ensure that like that shit don't happen again. Anyway, but what is the answer with that little conundrum? When you get roofing sheets, Colorbond knows this. Have you noticed how they put plastic film on all their gear, and you've got to pull the plastic film off? Paint on paint with an electrolysis between sitting sheets creates a breakdown between the components of the zinc within the paint itself, which creates white rust. So that's how Colorbond and companies that use paint on their guttering have fixed it. They seal it with a plastic film. It's just when you got gal, it ain't happening. So if you get gal sheets that have got a plastic film on it, you wouldn't get that problem. Next. So I got that answer at the steel shop. So after the steel shop, I was like, you know what? I know I need to go, I want to go and check Kmart out, because I just want to see. I'm having a bit of a manipulation around with the weights that I've got, because I want to get these dumbbells sorted once and for all. So I go to Kmart and I walk in there. Lo and behold, drum roll please, the dumbbell handles are sitting there on clearance on the shelf, and there's like, 6 of them. So I get 4 more sets, as you do. And then the rubber hex weights that I was looking at, up at Rebel Sport, they were $90 for a 12.5 kilo, $45 at Kmart. A 10 kilo, $29. So I got a set of each of those. Plus I got, boxing wraps and gym gloves, and they also then had, when I looked down, a weight rack sitting there to hold all your damn dumbbells. Papa. So God, the amount of excellence, God pisses more than excellence. God is like the ultimate alchemist. God is like, if he's going to give you like an explosion of excellence, it's like he's waiting for the hernia to bulge out. It's beyond the hernia bulging out. Like he's waiting for the pop. It's like you plant a seed, he will get every last bit out of the seed. And like what I've got here now is beyond excess. Like I have all my needs completely fulfilled with my gym for the foreseeable future, with the steel that I've got to be able to finish off my weight rack, and with the dumbbell weights and all the other stuff that I've got. Like, my gym is complete. Odin could train in my gym. Like, my gym is good enough for any mythological god. You know what I mean? Archangel Michael can come in there, or whatever, the warrior angels, they can all come on in there and lift. It is built for pumping iron, right? So, well, that's where we're at with my gym. That answer came this morning. So God was lining me up for this morning. And as I'm driving along, it's like, why am I seeing 555 everywhere? And with 555, also at the steel shop, it's 555 at the phone number. So then after I leave there's a vehicle that passes me on 555. And I'm like, why are you following me down here, God? So that the 555 is what I got for the weights. And then after the weights, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and see what's bolts that I need, and I was like, I need drill bit, a particular size drill bit for the bolts, because I've got all the other gear at home. So I was like, I'm going to go to Bunnings. See, this is the smasher here. I'm going to go to Bunnings to go and get a nut and bolt, and I've got Nylock nuts for the bolts, so I need to get separate packages. And I got the right drill bit, and I got 2 drill bits, because I was like, if one goes blind, I want to have a spare one. Anyway, so I got that sorted. Now, so when I walk into Bunnings, or as I'm driving to Bunnings, there's a vehicle with 3333, and I'm like, fuck Lord, like, what are we doing here? So as I'm sitting there with 33333 in the vehicle in front of me, I'm just like, I think God's bored. And there's just not many of us on this planet that get to play this little game of God, because God always follows me with numbers, you know what I mean? And I was like, either God's bored or God's up to something, and so today God was up to something, let me tell you now. So I go into Bunnings, to go and get my gear. I walk in there and all of my power tools are Stanley, right? These mobile plastic workstations from Stanley are usually $258 brand new. The two of them sitting there for $115 at the front of the tool shop, and I was just like, how on earth is it that like everything I need is so much special at the moment? It was like, but why 115? Didn't really think about it. So I went up, got the bolts, got the nuts, got the nylocks, went into the tool shop, got the drill bits, and then I was like, you know what, I won't just get one, I'm going to get the pair of them. So I get the pair of those boxes, put the gear down, pay for it all, not really thinking about much, and I say to the guy at the counter, I was like, like fucking, yeah, I got all that for the price of one of those originally, and I didn't actually think about that, but yeah, so God made the boxes that price, knowing that all the stuff that I was going to buy, which was 2 boxes, not one. Wasn't going to get a box, but I got 2 boxes plus the nuts, plus the bolts, plus the drill bits, and all the rest of it, summed up to the same price as what one of those boxes were originally. So I got all the lot for one, and then I get out to the car, and like I've got to struggle to get all the gear into the vehicle because there's a load of gear that I've now got, and I get it in, jump in the car, and it's 11:11. Stuff me, right? So yeah. That's not a testimony, that's just testifying that God possesses excellence on a level that's beyond your or my comprehension. Don't put God into a box. This universe is beyond just a mere twinkle in his eye. Not even a twinkle in God's eye, you know. Just don't ever think that you're going to calculate, predict, or understand what God's doing next. See, typically it'll take you about 1.5 years to catch up to where God was at, where you were originally, and then most of the lessons that you'll learn by God is hindsight, because you're just like, fuck, how were you so far ahead of me? But like, that's that single point of focus where God is the captain guiding us. Anyway, so today I received rewards, and the rewards were my gym is now complete. All I've got to do is do the welding to complete it, and I can now clean my vehicle up completely. I have 2 Stanley workstations to put all of my Stanley gear. Isn't that shit cool? God is good, and I just wish, I'm saying I wish, I don't care anymore who listens to this stuff or who doesn't. It's just like, what God do you follow? Honest to goodness, because my God, and it should be your God, possesses excellence. And honest to goodness, like, your day-to-day life is a mind blow, you know? Just always answers beyond the answers of the answers that you were looking for, and you didn't know you were looking for an answer, and God was already ahead of it. And that's what brings me back to, do we have an original thought? I don't even know anymore. And I'm still contemplating that one there, and I just think we're here on a roller coaster, and we've just got to enjoy the ride. And it doesn't matter how much initiative we take, God already predicted the assertiveness and the initiative that we were going to take, and had already laid out what it is we were going to do. So may God bless you, because God has blessed me. May God bless everyone. But I don't know why more people don't want to get on the path and walk with God. Well, I do actually, and in regards to that, I'm going to Latoya O'Keefe. She has just put 2 videos about the Tunnel of Transformation. That is where God is at the moment. And it's a tough journey, so you need to listen to it because it is not easy, and she explains it perfectly. That's where, I'm not saying like the forerunners, we are the forerunners. That's where we've been at, and we're at a point within our transformational period, and like there is a forerunner, like where there's a wave, and the wave, God has got us all at a particular point within our forerunning, right? But you know, we're in the tunnel of transformation, so I've kind of come out the other end of it. And there's still a few things, but like I have found an exceptional amount of peace. Anyway, so it's the prerequisite for knowing that you're going to walk the path of God, because God's going to open a door up for you to walk into the life that you're supposed to live. But that door that God opens, you're going to have to find faith to be able to pursue the path and survive it. Anyway, may God bless you. May the Holy Spirit give you revelation about this. And Jesus loves you. Bye for now.